Day. Now, I got an email from a brother, and this is a common theme that I've been getting. A lot of cats have been asking me this. This email says, Tariq, I met this girl. I gave her my number. She gave me her number. I've been calling her. We've been chopping up game. We talk on the phone for hours. There seems to be a good vibe. But she doesn't call me unless I call her. And I have other emails like this too. I get some emails from guys asking me, how soon is it to call a woman? I got one email from a guy with the same phone theme. One guy said he got a girl's number, and when he called the girl would kind of be acting funny towards him. The girl would kind of be acting disinterested. So like I said, a lot of these phone themes are pretty much the same. Guys trying to figure out why these women are playing phone games. Because naturally a guy would think if a woman gave him his number, or if a woman gave him her number, that she would be interested. Let me explain women to you guys, fellas. Now, some women will give you their numbers just so they can have you sweating them. See, women think like that. A lot of women like the ego boost of having a guy ride her bra strap. A lot of women like to have guys calling their homes, calling their cell phones to make them feel like they're in demand. It's a little psychological ego thing that these women go through. Now, fellas, as a Mac and as a potential Mac, you're not about no phone games. Do not engage in no bullshit telephone games with these girls. As a matter of fact, the ideal thing to do is to give a woman your number and have her call you. Because if a woman likes you, fellas, it's real simple. She will call you. It's that simple. Calling a woman isn't going to make her like you any more or any less. As a matter of fact, the more you call her, the more you jeopardize your chances of getting sex. The more you call a woman, the more you mess your game up. You feel me on this, fellas? Because you're making yourself too available. See, women like a man who's somewhat of a challenge. You know, they're not going to say this. If you're making yourself totally available all the time, you're just at her beck and call, she's not going to respect you. You're going to come across as being a little desperate to her. So I would say ixnay on the calls, eh? As a matter of fact, don't call a woman more than 3 times if she doesn't call you back. I wouldn't call her that many times, to be honest. But I'm saying, that's the general rule. Do not call a woman more than 3 times if she's not calling you back. If you have to do all the calling, there's a problem. That means she's not really interested. When a woman is interested, she'll pick up that phone. She will make a note to call you. She ain't that goddamn busy, all right? Nobody's that busy. This is 2006. Communication is all over the place. If she wants to get in touch with you, she can. There are phones all over the place. When women tell you shit like she wasn't by a phone or her cell phone was broke, nobody has a broken fucking cell phone, all right? Cell phones have one purpose: to take in and outgoing calls. That's what they do. So when a woman has a lot of excuses for not calling you, guess what? It's bullshit. Don't play telephone games with these girls. Max, don't do that. If she wants to play telephone games, you know what you do? Let me say that again. Let me turn the music off. If a woman is playing telephone games, do you know what you do?
Cut that bitch off.
That's what I'm talking about. But like I said, fellas, the telephone game, that's a sucker's game. Women do that with guys in order to get an ego boost. It's not your job to cater to some woman's ego. It's your job to find a woman who's down with some straight up cooperation. And another thing, don't chat on the phone for hours with a female. Especially a female who lives out of state. That's another thing, man. Stop trying to match to these out of state women. Those long distance relationships, those shits don't work, man. You got to get on these broads locally. And if you're going to get some women who live out of state, move to that damn city. If the women in your city is just that whack, or if the women are that whack in your city, you need to bounce. The long distance thing, that really doesn't work. Because like I always say, man, 90% of all communication is nonverbal. When you deal with people, it's not about what they say. It's about their actions. It's about their body language, posture, voice inflection. It's all about the nonverbal language. When you're dealing with a person who's long distance, you're basically having a telephone relationship with them. That's a 100% verbal relationship. That means it's 90% bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? You got to be around a person to feel them out. You got to be around a person to see how they're living. You got to be around them to see what their hygiene is like. You got to be around them to just pick up their aura. Being on the telephone with a person and being around them in person is two different things, man. When you're on the phone with them, out of sight, out of mind, you create your own aura about this person. You create, or you only see the positive attributes of this person in your own mind when you can't see them in the flesh. You make them overly idealistic. You feel what I'm saying? You reminisce of only their positive traits. When you're around a person every single day or on a regular basis, you get to see the good, bad, and the ugly. And that's a contributing factor to maintaining that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Everybody puts their best foot forward at first, but you're chilling with this female, and then all of a sudden, you see this bitch with no makeup on. And she looks like Joe Camel. Or she take off her shoes and she got bunions and corns and big hooves. You know, you got to look at stuff like that. If you're a dude who cares about that type of stuff, which I'm pretty sure you do, players. So the bottom line is, man, do not play telephone games. If you talk to a woman on the phone, your objective is to hook up a time to meet her in person. That's the main objective with dealing with a woman over the phone. You try to make it short and sweet. You make it brief. When you talk to women on the phone, you have to give the impression that you are a brother who's in demand. You have to give the impression that you're a very busy guy. You have stuff to do. You don't have time to play no little telephone games. And your time is valuable. If you're willing to sit on the phone and lollygag and bullshit with females and let them talk your ear off about little bullshit, mundane nonsense, such as what she bought at the mall, what type of relaxer she gonna get for her hair, what was on Sex in the City reruns last night, fuck that. Don't sit up on the phone and listen to all that nonsense, man. A simple phone conversation when you meet a woman, the phone conversation should go like this. Hey, what's happening? Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I met you at the club last night. What's going on? What are you doing this weekend? We're going to hook up. I'll call you later and let you know what's cracking. Bye. Click. That's it. It should be that Macish. Get to the goddamn point. Don't sit up on the phone spilling your guts, testifying and telling all your business. Telling about when you grew up as a little boy, the color big wheel you drove. When you got your first S-curl. They don't give a shit. Keep it short and sweet to the point. You feel me, players? And when women give you their numbers, Always give them your number too and instruct the woman to call you. Instruct them on when to call you. Say, here's my number. Call me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. You know, don't be happy and don't start celebrating because you got a number. That don't mean nothing, man. Some of you guys are so grateful that a woman gave you her number, you don't know how to act. You calling this woman, sweating her. Getting a phone number don't mean shit. That's not even half the battle. That's not even the beginning of the game. You feel what I'm saying? And somebody else asked me, like, Flex, what do you say when a woman, you meet at the club, you see her and you want to give her your number and she say, or you want to get her number, and she said something like, you know what? I can't give out my number, but let me get yours. Just step to the next female. That's a polite put down. Just charge that to the game. It means what it means. It means that, you know, she probably has a dude, she's doing her own thing, or whatever, or your approach just wasn't smooth enough. Because if you met this woman in a social setting, if you're talking good game, she's going to be receptive to that game. That's why she's in that social setting. Or, you know, she could be there just to get ego boost. I talk about this in the Mac Lessons DVD, how you have females who go to the club and their main objective is to bust guys' balls, just to turn guys down. You have women like that, man. And you got to charge them to the game. But don't trip on that. Now, another email that I've been getting from guys, another type of email, is an email or emails from guys asking me, how do we deal with older women? A lot of guys want to know how to deal with older women. That's a common theme. I've been getting a lot of guys asking that. Now, first I want to ask the guys, if you want to deal with an older woman, you have to ask yourself, why do you want to deal with an older woman? Because there's many different reasons why guys want to do that. Think about that, guys. I want you to ask yourself this. Because there are many ways to step to older women. But first you have to realize and understand, why do you actually want to pursue an older woman? Are you asking yourself that, guys? Look in the mirror and ask yourself that right now. Now, some guys, they might want an older woman because they think that the woman is more experienced. Some guys might want an older woman because they have like an Oedipus complex. Some of these niggas have mommy complexes. And they want a maternal figure to lay up with. Some real weird shit, but there are guys out there who like that. And the basic reason a lot of guys want to get with older women, they want to do some low-budget gigoloing. You know, they want a sugar mama. You know, I did some low-budget gigoloing when I was like 19, 20. I did it. So I'm not going to play the holier-than-thou role. You know, when I was like 21, I had a woman who was 39. But there was two things that made me fuck with this woman. Number one, she looked like she was 25. She was a very attractive 39-year-old woman. And number two, the bitch bought me a car. So, you know, I had to get my Stedman on. You dig? Now, if that's your primary goal, that's understandable. And also, fellas, if you get an older woman, don't get her too old. You know, I don't want to see y'all niggas roll off in the club with Cicely Tyson or some shit. That's not going to look right. You know, you want to roll off in the club with Della Reese. You know, people are going to talk. So stepping to older women. Older women are actually very cool. I like older women. Just to chop up game with them. You know what I'm saying? Not to date, but I like to just sit down and conversate with older women because, I was raised by an older woman. A lot of black men from my era were raised by older women. That's why our standards are a little higher when it comes to dating women. The problem is a lot of guys out here now, a lot of young gentlemen, they were raised by young mothers. There are a lot of dudes out here who were raised by teen mothers. So their standards are kind of low when it comes to women. You look at niggas' standards now, niggas be wifing up and hooking up with some raggedy ass broads these days, man. I travel the country. I've seen what some of these cats are dating. I've seen some of these prom pictures. You and your prom date looks like Shrek and Donkey. But you talk to an older cat, a lot of older cats who had like older mothers and older grandmothers, our standards were high because these women were the shit. Women, the black women especially from back in the day, they were the shit. Very well respected women who earned respect. We respected these women. They carried themselves in a very dignified way. So when these brothers, the offsprings of these women, when they would go out there in the dating world and they saw like some chicken head shit going on, they would be like, oh no, I'm cool. I know better. I was raised around better. That's why I'm so hard on the females out there. My mother was the shit. My grandmother was the shit. And hell, if my grandmother was alive today and I brought some of these women around, she would clown them. My grandmother would be like, what the hell is this you brought to my house? A lot of the old school grandmothers are like that. Very cool women. The older women like that. The older sisters, very cool women. So a lot of women who are 40 plus are pretty cool. Now, before you step to the older women, guys, you have to understand the ideal age to get a woman is a woman between the ages of 23 and 28. That's the ideal age. 23 and 28. 23 is actually the perfect age to get with a woman. A woman has her mind just right at the age of 23. Like these days, most of the women I get with are around 23. 23, that's the shit. Because when a woman is 23, she's out of that little hoochie attention whore stage that most women go through at 18 and 22. See, women under 21, don't waste your time, fellas. If you're trying to be serious about a woman under the age of 21, good luck. And there are exceptions to every rule, of course. But when women are under 21, they want to go through that attention whore stage. They got their ass and their little titties bouncing. They want to be seen. They want to get their little party on, their Cancun on, and that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. She needs to get that out of her system. I said this in another show because you don't want this woman to get into a serious relationship at a young age and now she's 40 going through a midlife crisis up in the club with a cat suit on. So when a woman gets around 23, she's out of that attention whore stage. She's thinking to herself, I did a lot of hoochie shit. I didn't get nothing out of it. I got a lot of negative attention. I'm getting older. Let me start getting serious about my choices. And 23 is a good age because she hasn't accumulated baggage. Now, when a woman gets around 29, 30, she's out of the hoochie stage. She's out of the attention whore stage. But then baggage sets in those late 20s. This is why you want to get her around 23. Now, the women that you should stay away from, the age group, are women in their early 30s. Women in their early 30s are damn near undateable. Wow, I can hear the emails now. I can hear the message boards lighting up right now with women talking shit about me. But I'm keeping it real, fellas. When women get around 30 years old, their mind shifts to some bullshit. Women who are around 30 years old, women who are single in their early 30s, a lot of bitterness, a lot of baggage, a lot of drama. And these women become real big haters. If you look at the internet and all the bullshit and all the rumors and all the bullshit that goes on the internet, most of these women are like women in their early 30s, bitter, angry, mad at the world. Because when there's a single woman in her early 30s, the blame is projected outward. Because society places a lot of pressure on women to get married and be settled down by 30. And when a woman isn't settled down, they have a tendency to kind of blame the world. Everything is fucked up about the world except them. Brothers ain't shit. Their job ain't shit. Their friends ain't shit. It's everybody but them. A lot of women in the early 30s, they go through the blame game. A lot of baggage. And those looks start dwindling down, especially when they're not taking care of themselves. See, a lot of women, they get their party on in their 20s, and then when 30 hits, they're like cramming for the test. So there's a lot of psychological damage going on there. Even the great Sigmund Freud, the father of modern psychoanalysis, he said himself that women usually become psychologically frigid by the age of 30, meaning that these women aren't really ready to learn anything new. These women become set in their ways a lot of times. You feel what I'm saying? Now, when a woman starts getting towards her late 30s, she starts to kind of accept responsibility, and she hopefully tries to change and gets her shit together. That's why I said women who are around 40 and older, they have their minds right. They've accepted whatever's going on with themselves. They have let go some of the bitterness. They've charged that shit to the game. And they stop fighting. Because women in their early 30s, it's all a battle. It's like a power struggle. It's a goddamn fight to deal with them. That mad at the world shit. And there are exceptions. I don't want emails from women in their early 30s like, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I know you're not like that, sweetie. I'm generally speaking to my players out here. And I'm telling you guys this so you'll know. Because you guys, you step to a woman who's around 32, 33. She's still holding on to them looks. There's so much insecurity there. You don't want to deal with that, guys. I mean, she's usually women in that age bracket. They're holding on to what little looks they got. They're holding on to what little body they got going on. And there's a lot of insecurity because they're insecure about the younger women coming up taking their slot. There's just too much bullshit going on in their minds, man. So if you're going to step to an older woman, you know, step to one late 30s, 40s. Hell, and if you can get a fine 50-year-old, holla at her. But the only ones I would say stay clear of, early 30s. That's like a transition stage, and you don't want to be around during that transition stage. You don't want to be around during that baggage stage. And plus, when women get like around 40, they start reaching their sexual peak, and they just want to get their groove back. And this is for all you teen guys. Like when you're in your early 20s, late teens, early 20s, you're at your sexual peak. When these women are in their late 30s, early 40s, they're in their sexual peak. So y'all motherfuckers put peanut butter and chocolate together and make Reese's Pieces. You dig what I'm saying? And that's how you step to older women. I'm just giving you a certain mentality to have when you step to these older women. You step to a female in her late 30s, early 40s with some good games and good conversation, she'll be feeling you. Just holla at her. She will be feeling you.